Okay, so hopefully this is going to work out. Let me just close some of these. Pathfinder tool, actually let me close it down. So what the students have asked me is they want to create a logo like this. So the name is 6 Uni and they want this infinity symbol, but they want the symbol to look like it's sort of swirling in between the lettering. So I'm going to go to File and New and make a new page. So we'll start right from the start. I'm just going to pick an A4 page. I'm going to make the color mode down here CMYK because this is a logo. They are going to use it on screen but also in print. So I'm going to pick CMYK as the color mode. And then here where it says raster effects, go with 300 ppi. The reason is 300, well, DPI or PPI is the dots per inch that you need for print. Not that it really matters with a vector image, but let's just set it to 300 anyway. You may have a slightly different version of Illustrator to me, but it'll be mostly the same as this. So hopefully you'll be able to find everything as you go along. So the first thing I did was I go up to this type tool, so it looks like a T. And if I click here, so Lorem Ipsum will come up, but it's SIXUNI is the name of their company. So I've typed that, but it's way too small. So if I come up to this first tool, it looks like a little black kind of arrow or a triangle, the selection tool. If I click on that, if I come to the corner of where that text is and see the arrows turn into sort of double arrows, if I hold down Shift on my keyboard, so definitely hold down Shift. Oops, this is what happens. Let me go, I'm hitting Control Z. Okay, I went too fast. If I try that again, hold down Shift and just scale it up. So I sort of scaled too quickly. I was too eager. Okay, so that's about the size. It's a good size there. Now the typeface I want to change. So it's set by default to Myriad Probe. Let's not use that. The one that I had used was this one, Visby Round. And by default it's set to a light version. So we can have a light, a medium, or a heavy. So they're just the typefaces the versions I have of this. But I'm going to keep it on medium. So it's up to you. You guys go up to this section up here where you can change what's called the character or the typeface and change it to a few different versions. So try different typefaces. I do think a sans serif is nice, but try yourself and see what you think. So that's the first bit there. Then I actually went on to, let's see, can I find it? Let's close this down. I have an account with a company called Flat Icon, and I was looking for infinity symbols. So I think the one that I picked might have been this one. Yeah, it was. And it has these nice rounded edges. Because I have an account, I can download what's called an SVG. That's a vector graphic. If you haven't got an account, you have to download what's called a PNG. Don't worry about that for now. Let's assume we can get an SVG. So let's go back into Illustrator. And if I go to File and Open, and I know that I downloaded it here and it's this one. Okay, so let's open that. Okay, it's already open. Where is it? Here. Okay, so if I click on that, and if I go Edit, Copy, and let's go back to our new page here and go Edit, Paste. Okay, so here's our symbol. Now, just to make this easier to see what's going on, I'm going to make this a red color. So let's click. See these down on the bottom left here? There's these little swatches. At the moment, it's by default, it's set to black. So if I double click on it, I can get all the colors that I want. I'm just going to pick a red. Not that that's your corporate color or anything, but just so as I can see what's going on. And let's click OK. Right. The next thing I'm going to do is I want this infinity symbol to be much smaller. So again, I'm going to scale it down. Again, I can go to a corner. I'm going to go up to this top left corner and wait till you get these sort of double arrows. Again, remember to hold down Shift. And let's scale this to a size that we want. Oops. And then I'm not holding down Shift now, and I'm just moving it into position. Okay, let's just scale again. Okay. Something like that. Okay. So at the moment, I've just eyeballed to see, like, let's position this infinity symbol over the lettering. But I'm going to, still on the selection tool, if I sort of click and drag, so I'm making a rectangle over those two objects, so the text and the symbol, and I want to line them up. So when I do that, you'll notice at the top of the screen, look at the top sort of right hand side, these little symbols pop up, which is for aligning. And if you actually hover over them, it'll give you the alt text. So I want to center these. So this horizontal align center, let's click on that. And then this one down here, a vertical align center. Okay, so it's shifted them. So now they're perfectly centered. Now, even though it's perfectly centered, I don't really like it. I'm going to scale, I'm going to hold down shift again. I'm just going to scale this infinity up a little bit. Oops, let's go, sorry, no to that. And I'm going to do that again. Let's drag over all of those elements and let's just center it that way and center it that way. Okay, I'm happy with that. The reason I didn't like it was because I wanted part of this infinity shape to cross over all of the letters, and it wasn't crossing over this I at the end, so I scaled it up a little bit and then centered it again. Okay, now there's one other little step that we need to do. Let me just click on this text, okay? In order to get this to work properly, we have to turn it into essentially a drawing of those letters, okay? So if I go up to type and create outlines, if I can find it, there it is, it's down around the middle, it's shift, control shift and O, or create outlines. Now what that's done is, it mightn't look any different, but it's created a drawing of those letters essentially. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this tool here, the shape builder tool. Actually, let me just select all of these. Okay, so what you can see is if I kind of hover over this, like this area here or this area, there's these little shapes that you can see where this infinity symbol crosses over the letters. So if I come up to this shape builder tool, and let's pick a color. Actually, let's use our eyedropper tool first, and I'm going to select the red color. Oops, sorry. Let's just click off of it. Bear with me a minute. What I want is to get that red color. So actually, if I just click on it there, so you can see the red color has appeared here. Okay, so let's select everything here, and let's go up to this shape builder tool. Okay, so if I click on that, and certain shapes, what do I want to do? Actually, I was right the other way around. Apologies. Let me click off of here. What I want is actually some of these to be turned black. So let's click on the black text, and what I want is this black symbol down here, this black fill on this little palette down here. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's select over all of these. Let's go to our shape builder tool, and let's say I want that shape to be black. So let's see, it's coming behind the S, it's in front of the S. Let's say it's going behind that part of the X. It's going in front of that part of the Y. Let's say it's going behind the N, in front of the I, and behind the U. Okay, so if I click off of that, so you can see from that, and then you can decide yourself, you can go back. If you ever want to undo anything in Illustrator, it's Control Z, or you can go up to Edit, where is it? Undo. It'll tell you what the last thing was, undo, merge, for example. But Control Z is as easy, Control Z every time. So I could hit Control Z a few times and go back and pick different shapes if I wanted to. So the next thing I want to do is all of these red shapes, I want to combine them together. Okay, so I'm going to click on one red shape, and I know that I've definitely clicked on it because there's red down here. So I could kind of go along and try to click on all these shapes, but it's much easier if you go up to click on one red shape, go to select, go to same, and go to, let's go fill color. Okay, so what it's done is it should have selected all of the red shapes. Hopefully it has. If we go up then to window, and there's something called another palette here called Pathfinder. It's down the end there. And this palette should pop up. Okay, so in Pathfinder, there's something here where it says shape modes, and the first one here, if I hover over it, it says unite. Now it says alt click, but if you actually just click on it, it should, now this is going to make a liar out of me, but it should unite all of those shapes together. And actually, I'm just going to move it, I'll put it back. Okay, so you can see all of those are contained together. So I'm hitting Control Z, let's put that back. Okay, so the last thing you want to do is fill that now with a gradient. So if I come up to this tool here on the left, in the kind of palette on the left, gradient tool, or to get to it actually, where it says gradient tool and a G, so if I click on G, it'll bring me to it. So let's just double click on that, and what I'll get is this gradient option. So I'm just going to go back up to the selection tool. Let's click on our red shape and let's fill it with that gradient. Okay, now that's not the gradient that you want. You don't want it to be grey, but we can click on, if you look on this gradient kind of bar here, there's a little white dot on the left and a black dot on the right. So let's double click on that and some options come up. Now at the moment, I don't know why Illustrator does this, it defaults to just choosing between black and white. There's a little sort of, it's kind of like a hamburger menu on the right here. If I click on that, and let's change that to CMYK. So now I've got all sorts of options. You could use the Pantone swatch book to pick out your CMYK value, or if somebody gave you CMYK values, for example. Or what you could do is sort of choose some, let's kind of go with a light blue maybe. Yeah. Something like that. Okay, you can play about with these and change them. Let's click on the black. Again, we have to go up to this little hamburger menu, change it to CMYK, and I think you guys had a pinky purpley color. Something like that. Okay, that's not bad. And to close these, if they're kind of annoying you, there's little arrows here, so let's close that over. We leave the pathfinder there. So that's not bad. You know, it sort of looks like it's swirling in around and it's filled with this kind of nice gradient. And that's pretty much it. I have no problem if you guys want to work off of the one that I have. Where is it? This one here, if you want to. I'm fine with that. But that's just a quick kind of overview on how you might put something like that together.